there. Good afternoon. I hope that everyone is doing very, very well. And welcome to Catherine's Garden and Home, where we grow together. Just trying to get this right. In Catherine's Garden and Home, that's right. Grow together in Catherine's Garden and Home. I hope that everyone is doing well today. Yeah, today is so beautiful. It's just been really nice in my garden for the last couple of days. It's been sunny, and so I've been able to get outside and to observe the garden and just see what is happening and how I need to make some changes. Well, what I've noticed is that I need to amend my soil and really look at how I am going to utilize my garden space the best way, especially for now, because I want to plant as much food as possible this year, as well as enjoy the garden and plant flowers and herbs. And I just want a really full, compact, rich space. I know that that's just the way I garden anyhow. However, I want to make sure that I am intentional in my gardening and that my gardening makes sense. That I'm not just planting randomly, but rather planting with some real intention of maximizing my space. So that means that one really has to work on the soil and the things that mean the most, that are most important. And so I've been using my journal. That's right. Garden to Call My Own, the Intentional Garden Journal of 2022. And it really has helped me to really think about my garden and being intentional. Well, I don't know if you saw my video, but I talked about the herbal garden space. And now for this right now for our discussion, I'm thinking about the soil, amending the soil and just beautifying the beds and just going and seeing what is really happening out there in that garden of mine. So then looking at the garden space, how am I going to maximize it with as much growth and food and beauty as possible? And you all are coming in. Yay! Do you like my tulips? Hey, Deborah. Hey, Sonia. Hello, Rambo. Blessings, blessings. Yes. Do you like my tulips? I got some tulips, and I am so excited about them. Hey, Bev, how you doing? I really am excited about the season. You know, Easter is next month, so a lot of the tulips and the Easter feel is flowing. I'm sure they're going to have lilies out soon too. So I got myself um, this tulip, and I put it in my in my container, and it looked so pretty. Now, doesn't this look nice with me? Oh, I love you too, especially the pink color. Yeah, isn't it gorgeous? They look like they're fading a little fast, but I don't care. It was only $4. I mean, $4. I can enjoy this. I figured, well, it would have been like a pack of bulbs, right? So there's like one, two, three, four, five, six bulbs, right? For the $4, I get to really enjoy them here close up in my home. So that's something to make you smile. So if you see any tulips, don't be afraid to treat yourself to at least one plant. And I have a plant in my home, finally. It looks so good, as I said, in the container that I had purchased. And I think that's exactly how I'm going to utilize the container here is that each time just get a new plant or a fresh plant. It could be seasonal, or eventually it will be a nice tropical plant in there. But in the meantime, I can fill it with really some garden interest. Hello, Gardens on Me. Hello, Miss Catherine and everyone. Hello. I hope that all of you are doing well. Thank you so much for popping in and coming and joining me today. Are they annuals? Well, yes, I think that the tulips, you may be able to replant them in the garden later on. That's so. Hello, I see someone. That's so, Venice. How are you? Hello, how are you? Thank you for coming and joining us here in the chat. Yes, as far as the tulips are concerned, when the tulips are spent, you'll be able to plant them in the ground. And just fertilize them, make sure that the leaves die back naturally, and hopefully they'll come back again next year. So I believe that you can transplant them and put them back in the ground and let them come back. So yeah, it's a good thing. Oh, sorry, wrong account. Ha ha ha. Who's that? Oh, I know who that is. Rachel. Rachel, that's you. Rachel, that's you. That's your other account. Well, thank you for letting us know about your other account. We're gonna have to go ahead and apply. Steffi's Garden, how you doing? Yes, I'm gonna have to go and apply to your other account too. Yeah, that's okay. That's good, when you can have more than one. And especially because of the fact that we are multifaceted. That was my sewing channel. All right. That's a great deal. Yeah. Yes, I think so. That's nothing over there really. Ha ha ha. Hello all. Well, maybe you're just starting. Yeah, outdoors with Big Matt. How you doing? Good to have you. I'm glad you've come to join us here at Catherine's Garden and Home. That's right. So I really want to talk about what's happening around us. Not to frighten you, not to get ourselves bent out of shape about what's happening in the world around us, but that we are aware and that we are working ahead, that we are proactive in making sure that we keep ourselves at a balanced pace, that we're not overwhelmed by what is happening around us because we are prepared. There's something about being prepared for something that you're able then to handle it. You're not caught off guard. And since you are you are gardeners, you are one who are already interested in growing your own food, you're a step ahead of a lot of people who don't know anything but just the supermarket. You know how to get a fresh tomato, how to plant that pepper, how to grow that squash, how to you know, expand your outside living, enjoy your herbs. You know how to do that. Well, now we need to amp up our growing skills and our ability to make sure that we get everything that we can out of the garden, along with the beauty, because we are still going to grow our flowers. Hi, Simplifying with Ebony. How are you? You made it. Yay! Woo! Where we grow together. Yes. And I love my flowers. They are making me so happy. I feel kind of like, ooh, spring is here. I'm feeling it. So we're not going to let go of the flowers and the beauty. I want beauty. I want food. I want a place to relax when the whole world is going crazy all around me, that I can just sit spying on y'all. I wonder how many were prepared in Ukraine but had to leave everything? How do you prepare for war? That's true. But the thing is this, that there are many of them who are still there. And if they had a garden and they were able to hide amongst, in a bunker sort of situation, they could go out, scavenger for food, and come back, or maybe even in amongst that, they because not everyone has been able to leave. There are people who are still living there right now that are still there. And Ukraine is considered, as I understand it, a breadbasket, and it's a fertile place, so that they could, if they had some form of outdoor planting or growing, or a greenhouse, or um, a container garden, or something that they would be able to still, or a root cellar that they would be able to still eat, and manage, as they are bunkered down during that time. Thankfully, we are not in that position here. However, we may be affected by food prices. And so we can supplement our food prices with the food from our gardens, from what we are growing now. And also, we could get those home remedies. Maybe you might not be able in the summertime to go to the store. Maybe there's a shutdown, a lockdown, like what we had, excuse me, with the pandemic. And I think in China there is another, they've been having shutdowns, and in other parts of the world, there are different countries that have reoccurring pandemic coming on. So you and I could possibly grow that lemon balm that you can rub on your skin to repel the mosquitoes, or you can have that herb that can help to calm your stomach, and or drink that tea that can help to alleviate the sickness. So we are a step ahead, and we are in thankfully in a different place than that. But we also have to be mindful of the fact that right in the South, I've heard of people going through tornadoes and hurricanes, and other disasters. So it is good to be prepared. It is good. I would recommend, and I did this last year, I actually printed out the FEMA preparedness list, and just went through that checklist and saw what things that I don't have and what things I can have in my home, so that if something should happen, that we can run and leave with a knapsack, or while we're here in the home, we have the resources here that we can live comfortably in the midst of all of the turmoil that is around. So it is good to be prepared. America is blessed. War seldom happens here. Yes, yes, yes. We just had 3 here in Louisiana. Some are worse off than others right now. Yes, G. Marma Gross says. So what we can do for them, Betty Johnson, good afternoon from Connecticut. Good afternoon, Betty. How are you? Yeah, so we can pray for them. I'm a prayer. I'm one who prays. So I've been praying for them and praying for this war, that it will cease and stop now. And I see how the children are and all of that. But where we are now, we can be prepared, because, as you know, gas prices have gone up and everything is much more expensive. So if gas prices have gone up, that means getting from New Jersey, Vintage Gardener, how are you? That means that if gas prices have gone up, then that means that it's going to cost more. It's going to show up on the in the grocery store. I don't know if you've noticed that everything is a lot more expensive. Even the Dollar Tree. which used to be $1 now. Things are $1.25. Oh my God. Amen. Pray, warriors. Keep praying. God heard you. Yes. Hello, Vintage Gardener. How you doing? So I don't want to dwell on that so much, but that is the background. That is why I'm bringing this up. And we want to also be aware of our own mental health. We want to be able to wake up in the morning with a sound mind. Yes. $1.25 Dollar Tree. Yes. Yeah. We want to be able to wake up with a sound mind, with a balanced mind, not one full of fear, doubt, and wondering where is our next meal coming from, or how are we going to make it. We want to be self-sufficient. So it's a matter of time to grow those crops or start to think about survival gardening crops that can help us during these times. And I was watching Epic Gardening, and he had a wonderful video on some gardening crops that one can grow. And he mentioned beans. Beans are something that one can grow. It's easy to grow, and you can grow a lot of that. Beans. He talked about corn, growing corn. Last year I grew corn, and even recently while I was cleaning up the garden some more, I happened to miss a garden stalk, and there was corn on it with the seeds, and they were still very much, intact. Nothing had gotten to it. So I'm gonna plant those seeds and see what happens. But corn, and then he talked about squash. As you know, squash lasts a long time, so that's a good crop to storage crop, winter crop. So when the time is right to plant squash, all types of squash, and store them. As you know, I had my squashes for a long time, all the way there until February. I had my last pumpkin pie. Cabbage is also good to store as well. Potatoes, yes, potatoes we know is a staple crop. Potatoes, growing your own potatoes. Kale, I love kale, and I had such great success in growing curly kale and dinosaur kale. And I just used my Dollar Tree seeds to do it. Just scattered them out in a space when the ground got warm, let them grow up, and then I divided them out. And my whole front was there filled with all of those beautiful kale plants. And the kale lasted pretty long. I think if I had taken better care of them, maybe, or protected them, it could have probably carried me into the winter or through the winter. But I just let them, I just let them stay open and so forth. And they then wilted. But I think if push comes to shove, that I needed to cover them and protect them, that I would still be able to eat the kale. Then sweet potatoes. He spoke of sweet potatoes, lentils, and herbs. And last week we talked about herbs. Yeah, last week we had that long conversation about all the different herbs. By the way, Bab, I am looking for ginger mint, and I don't see any ginger mint. Where did you get your ginger mint from? I didn't get any ginger mint, but I'm going to definitely continue to look for all of the others. I think they may have it at Lambert's here. There's a place in Boston where they sell different plants, and they may have it there at that garden center. But yeah, I've been looking for the ginger mint, Bev. Gardens of me, I've been looking for it. So I'll keep on looking for that ginger mint. Yeah, but that's some of the things. What do you all think about all of this? What's your opinion? What's your thoughts on this? Um, and so, how are you thinking about this? Are you thinking about how you're going to prepare for whatever? Burpee seeds is where I got mine from. Okay, I'll look and see again if I see the seeds there at Burpee Seeds. So it's not a plant, it's you planted it by seed. Okay. Um, so I'll check it out. Also, when Epic Gardening, what he suggested is that you plant your corn stalk down, and then you plant your bean seeds next to the corn and let it grow up. They come as plants. Oh, they do. Oh, beautiful, beautiful. I'll check it out again. And then also the squash. He said you could plant your squash on the bottom, and that is really a great way of utilizing all of your space, because that's what we want to do. We want to utilize all of our space and grow as much as we can. Now, I didn't grow beans last year. I haven't grown those types of beans, the runner beans, but I've grown the shrub, the bush beans, and bush beans do very well for me. What about you all? Are the bush beans growing well for you? What kind of beans? What do you think about these plants that he suggested? And I was thinking too about the fact that we are doing some early time to grow food. We talked about beets and kale and radish and spinach, and beets grow quickly. That's the Three Sisters gardening method: beans, squash, and corn. Yes, that's true. That's the name for it. Thank you. That's the technical name for it, right? Yeah, that's the Three Sisters garden methods: beans, squash, and corn. Thank you, Gardens Army. Yeah, and so there are a lot of really good methods out there. And don't they use hay as well to plant their potatoes? Like they would put yeah. Bunnies kept eating my beans. Ugh. Oh, sorry about that. We've been talking about those bunnies. Remember last time, seed alcoholic, or alcohol, seeds, alcohol. I think I have her name backwards. But anyway, she talked about using Cedarholic. Cedarholic talked about using what is that? Not paprika, but cayenne pepper. Cayenne pepper. Dang. The cayenne pepper to keep the rabbits out. Yeah. And so think about the cayenne pepper. All right, so we have, can you start so the thing is that grows quickly and with cool temperatures. Yeah, Cedarholic. Yeah, Cedarholic. She gave us a lot of good ideas last time about their bunnies and how to handle the bunnies. But what about, so I was thinking about this. Now, if we're going to plant a lot of food, we're also going to have to be creative in creating garden space for our food. And then also, if the ground is not good, your soil is not good, how can you deal with that? What are you going to have to do? And we have to start to think creatively how to maximize the space in our garden. Really going around. I think this is a great time to actually go around and survey your garden. Go around and look at all of the different areas in your garden. And one of the books that I was reading in talks about microclimates also. I know that there are different microclimates in my garden. Even though I'm in a zone 6, there's still different pockets in my garden that the temperatures are different. That things like over by the deck where the rose bushes are, the climbing roses are, that area, that always warms up first. The daffodils come up first there, the crocuses come up first. It's always green, and the things just are much more healthier in that corner. And I know also that they are just they come earlier, whereas down in the back corner, that's like one of the last places to revive. It must be like a cold wind flows through that part of the garden. And so, knowing what and how your garden functions, and knowing what grows well where it does, that's a good thing to figure out. And also, figuring out your sunlight, the sun. How does the sun travel in your yard? Where is it south facing versus the north face part of the garden? And looking at it traveling from east to west, and the south side of your garden versus the north side, and which gets the most sun, at least 6 to 8 hours of sun, and that's a good place to plant your vegetables. Like, I know the front of my house, that's where everything gets sun. The sun is there after it comes from the sun rises in the east, it comes through, and then it's really spends a lot of time in the front garden, the way that the yard is situated. The front gets a lot of the sun. I've been learning plants are picky where they want to be, dropping leaves and junk. Yeah. Yes, they are very picky. And so you want to really know your garden so that when you plant, you can plant intentionally, that you're not planting a shade-loving plant in the middle of the sun, in a sunny spot that you're going to have to water all the time, or it's going to be scorched by the sun. You want to make sure that it is in the right location. So that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about us being very intentional in our gardening. We've been playing around in the garden, fooling around, having a great time, experimenting and trying things. And not that we're not going to do that, but it is important for us to maximize our gardening space because of the times that we see that we're in, that we need to grow as much food as possible and do a step up our game, step a game up. In gardening, come on, we gotta step our game up, right? We gotta really produce. And so if that's the case, then we gotta know what we're doing. We gotta be a little more wise and smart about this. And so that's why I mentioned, some of the foods that are good for us. If you have not considered these survival gardening crops, consider growing them. And if I could grow them, you can grow them too. And as I said, beans, I didn't grow beans. But corn, I did corn last year. That was my experimental time. Well, now I know how to grow corn. I need to do enough of it. Squash, well, I got the squash down pat. Cabbage, last year I worked on the cabbage. And now too, I got that, I got me some neem oil too. So I guess if the marigolds don't work, because I can't do as much marigolds like that like I did last year, because that took up a lot of space, of food space, then I might need to use some of that neem oil or whatever, or whatever it is to kill the snails. And so finding out what you need now so that you can get it now, when something should happen, or there's a shutdown or something happens, that you've got it in your house, right? You got it in your house and you're prepared. That's the whole idea. Potatoes. Now, we're talking about different ways of growing potatoes. I saw this lady, I was watching a video of this lady from England, what, Green Acres or Green, something like that, I think is her name. And she grew her potatoes. Got your jars and get your jars and lids. Yes. She grew her potatoes in her soil bags. I didn't think about that. I was wondering about the plastic, if that would work. But she just took her topsoil, the bags that she used to get her compost in, she just converted them and used them to plant her potatoes in the plastic bags like that. And I said, "Oh wow, it's not that difficult." I really haven't um, planted or really tried to plant potatoes that well. I put it directly in the ground, my potatoes in the ground, and they came up. I had potatoes there, but um, I tried planting potatoes in some pots. But I think what happened is that I put too many potato starts in the container. Okra grows easily in zone 6. Growing in 5-gallon buckets is easiest for me. No digging to harvest. You just you just tip the bucket over. Yes, okra. Yes, I meant growing potatoes. Yes, yes, Betty. That's excellent. Yes. So Betty Johnson says a potato grows easily in zone 6. Growing in 5-gallon buckets is easiest for me. No digging to harvest. You just tip the bucket over. Yeah. And so there are different ways. And we were talking too about grow bags as well. But when she mentioned the using the plastic bags that you use to take out your topsoil from the store, I thought that that was very good because like somebody could say, well, I can't find any 5-gallon bags. Just I've seen people growing tomatoes in the same bags. The soil comes in, they just cut a hole in the bag. Yeah, yeah. So that's a creative way of thinking about, well, if it may not look the most prettiest, it's not maybe as tidy or pretty, but if push comes to shove, the leaves of the potato will cover the bag. Potatoes, I heard you talking about potatoes. I discovered volunteer potato plants in my garden today. I'm so excited. All right, Deborah. Wow, Deborah, you have been with it, with this growing. I am so pleased. I am so excited for you. Yeah, because you've just been in the garden and growing and getting things together. You're making us have to get up and get going too. Let's applaud Deborah. By the way, Deborah sent me a picture of her dog and her cat, and I was supposed to put it on the website, but I am going to get to it, Deborah. Yeah, and so check out the website. I think I'm going to do containers. I have very small space. Yeah, and that is the other thing too. Container gardens. No, we all can grow food in containers. And also the power of containers is that you can move them around to a sunny spot. So what I've been doing is, like today, I went out and I surveyed how many good size containers or pots do I have. And instead of just filling them up with my cannas and some of my other tropical plants, I'm thinking of filling them up with um, with herbs or with potato, not potato, but with herbs or growing some kind of food source in my pots because then I can move them around the garden and put them in sunny locations and water control them. And especially because herbs are they're not thirsty plants. You don't have to wonder if you're overwatering them. And if it rains in your area, if you get rain, then the rain will take care of them. And I actually grew oregano. Yeah, oregano in one of my pots, and I think it's coming back. I'm trying an experiment with beans, and we'll let you know the results when completed. Good, Deborah. See, she's with it. Herbs are awesome. I think so too, G Mama. I think that herbs are awesome, and I mean it will make your beans and rice taste good. And it'll add flavor to your potatoes that don't have any flavor. And that is something that Epic Gardening also mentioned. He mentioned the fact that it's great to have a place where you have herbs, because you can have your rosemary, your sage, your thyme, and just be able to use them to add to the potatoes, to add some flavor, so that it's not so bland. Because you may not have like butter and all of that stuff. I'm growing 4 kinds of basil. A new one to me, and borage is new to me this year too. Oh, borage, Rachel. I was thinking about borage too. I don't have any borage, but you know what? My basil, I love the basil from my Dollar Tree seeds. I just pour it out, just in a container, and it grows. And then all I have to do is go and clip it, and it's a cut and come again, a basil. So it's really good. Wait. Well, let me see. You guys, I've got to run. Talk to everyone next week. Oh, good. Thank you for stopping by, Deborah. Thanks for stopping by. Have a good evening. Bye. Steffi says, you inspire me to do a tea garden. Oh, that's nice. Yeah. And see, the tea is really great, because then also it'll keep you healthy. That's the other thing, is that we want to make sure that we maintain our health. And so the tea offers that for us as well. Brampton, Rachel says, ha ha ha, my friend has a major crush on Epic Gardner, ha ha. She talks about him all the time. I tell her she's supposed to be watching my channel. You tell her he has enough followers. You need some followers too. You need some of that time as well. Yeah. Well, I don't watch him a whole lot, but I was interested in this because I think this is some practical information that he was offering about crops and choosing the right crops and really maximizing our opportunity to grow really great things. And of course, growing now, one can start now. I did plant out my seeds of beets, kale, radish, and spinach. And they said, like, well, I didn't do the spinach. I did the radish and the kale, and for early sowing. And I wanted to share this with you actually from last year. This is the Oregon State University Extension Service. And this is what they say. These cold hardy vegetables may stick it out through the winter. And that's something to think about too, that when we start planting, that what can make it through the winter. Like, of course, we know carrots. And so it says, winter gardening is a risky business. It may work one year with a mild winter, but not another when the weather is more severe. If you plant some cold hardy vegetables from mid-August to early October, depending on the crop, there's a good likelihood you will produce something on the other end in the spring. They say farming is a gamble, some years more than others. Well, we want to make sure that we're making it. So we want to utilize the techniques and the things that will help us. So if you have, now is a good time to think about developing a cold frame, some kind of place where you can grow your food or keep it covered, protected, especially the cold hardy crops that can overwinter if given some protection. Semi-hardy vegetables that can withstand light frost of air temperatures in the range of 28 to 32 degrees include beets, spring market carrots, parsnips, lettuce, chard, pea, Chinese cabbage, endive, I don't know what that is, radicchio, cauliflower, parsley, and celery. For beets, spring market carrots, and parsnips, the tops will die, but the roots will tolerate lower temperatures. Vegetables that contain the pigment anthrocyanin, which gives them a vibrant red or purple color, are more resistant to rots caused by winter rains. They include purple sprouting broccoli and purple kale. If you live in an area of the state that gets prolonged snow cover, the fluffy white stuff acts as insulating mulch and warms the soil for those tough plants. So like up there in Canada, Rachel, you can grow some of these cold weather crops, and that he says here the snow cover will act as an insulator. He said the rain is the problem, though, with a lot of cold weather crops. He recommends covering vegetables with high or low tunnels made from metal hoops and clear plastic, available from greenhouse supply companies to protect plants. You can also use row covers or cloths, clutches. What do they call them? To warm the soil, use mulch made from yard debris, cardboard, or newspaper. I got my seeds from my MI gardener. Depends on how long and how cold. Yeah. Yes, 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 yes. And so even being creative, in the 20s, my greens do fine. Yeah. Yes, yes. And the thing is that that winter gardening, close, yeah. The way they spell it, they didn't spell it, but you know what I'm talking about. That you can cover. It's like a dome that you cover the plant to protect it with. Um, and that whole idea of winter sowing. That's why I showed the winter sowing jug with those are the perennials, a mix that I got. I just you could just check. You could check it out afterwards if you didn't see it already. That my winter perennial mix has come up, and that is the alternative soil that I got from the Dollar Tree, and I planted those seeds in it, and they have come up looking really good, don't you think? I don't mind pricking them out as they continue to grow leaves. I will divide and sort them out. I think I handle that much more better than trying to deal with tiny seeds and putting one in each little spot. I think I like to pot up stuff. So I was so happy to see it because it definitely looks attractive to see the seeds growing in that method. And that's something to remember, that we will be able to do that winter sowing as well. If something should happen, you're already set up, start saving your containers for that time, put them in a nice safe place as you go through the summer. And then when that time comes around, that you can actually start to do some winter sowing in the containers. And if you start when it's warm enough, maybe in November and so forth, you may even be able to grow some lettuce or some other type of food in the containers before it gets too cold, cold, or it's cold, but I mean really, really cold. And that you can start to grow some plants that way. I think just creating that kind of greenhouse effect is just a powerful thing. It really helps us in extending our growing season. So when we're thinking ahead, we can prepare ahead so that when we're going through this growing season, we're starting to gather things together. This is my second year with winter sowing, and I love this method. You do? Gardens are me. Yes, Bev. Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. I'm glad you're having great success with that. So I wanted to show you some things that I've been thinking about here. The other thing is I want to talk about is soil. Soil, creating new growing spaces and improving your soil. So something else that I did today, as I was walking around in the garden, I was also testing out the soil. Right now, the soil is kind of dry because it didn't rain in the last 2 days, but it's going to rain tomorrow, and that's when my garden looks really spectacular. I love my garden after the rain or even during the rain because the soil is so black and beautiful and everything is green and looking so fine. I just love my garden during a rain or after rain. Not when it's pouring down rain, but when it's, drizzly or after the rain is calm. That's why I like to videotape or I like to tape it or video my garden at that time. I love to do the garden tours then because everything just looks so fresh. But I've noticed though that there are parts of the garden where the soil does not look as rich or as well as it should. And so last year what I did was that to help amend the soil, had compost be shipped in. And I had it right around in April, I got the compost and we laid the whole garden down, all of the beds with fresh compost, and that made the difference. I think, excuse me, that's why things grew so well in my garden. That composting and checking out your soil is such a critical piece of good gardening. So the thing that we want to consider right now, and I wanted really to get to that, was feed your soil. How are you feeding your soil so that you can produce the best crops? How are you all feeding your soil? What do you do? Have you been trying out composting? Anybody trying out composting? Hi, cool weather farmer. How you doing? That's good. You all are kind of silent. Are you all just listening? What's happening? Um, yeah, so have any of you tried out the composting? Have you been composting, improving your soil structure? And you're getting what you know, there's this saying that you get what you give. So when you feed the soil gives back to you a lot of wonderful plants. Yeah, are you just listening to me or you all what? I'm feeling like, where's everybody? Where's everybody? Used to be able to get compost from the city. Yeah. Oh, well, maybe there's another source. This year I'm going to try. Oh, wait. Vintage Gardener said, this year I'm going to try to make my own compost. I've used bagged compost from Coast of Maine. I like it. Yeah, that's supposed to be really good stuff. I think I got some of that before from the garden center. I compost with leaves, Coos Weather Farmer. Me too. Yes, good. But they shut it down the last 2 years. I need to go be a squeaky wheel. Yes, you do, because not just you need it, but other people need it as well. I'm sewing. Ha ha ha. You sewing? Yeah, you're sewing. You're sewing or you're sewing? Chicken pop. I have poop. I have a compost bin too. Oh, okay, garden to me. Chicken. You have chickens? Oh wow. Oh wow. I use Coast of Maine and Green Envy compost manure blend. I bought a composter and will make my own this year. Betty Johnson. Oh wow, that is exciting. Sewing right now. You sewing right now? Sorry. Rachel, I figured you out. Don't worry. I know when you say you're sewing right now, SOWING, but you meant sewing, SEWING. I figured you out, girl. You didn't make a mistake. I made my own compost. You did, Sonia. So how did you make your own compost? Do you use any kind of like special method? My hair is all up. Yeah. Did you use any special kind of method or what with your composting? Did you use a bin? How many of you use a compost bin or just throw your stuff out? Oh, Lynette Lawrence, how are you? I compost all kitchen scraps, ground up leaves from last year, and old dried horse manure. How are you, Lynette? Haven't seen you in a while. Good to have you in the chat. Everybody say hello to Lynette. Lynette is in the house. Woo-hoo. Nice to have you, Lynette. Good that you came by. Haven't seen you. I hope all is well with you, that you're doing good. Yeah, yes. And so composting is something. Composting is something that we have to think about. Like my husband, he gathers all the leaves and the grass clippings and things, and he puts them in a certain way. And we kind of use that. We use the compost from the leaves because we have a lot of oak trees around us and other trees, maple trees, just a lot of trees. And so we get a lot of leaves throughout the season. And even now, I'm still raking leaves and putting leaves in bags and so forth. So we've decided to utilize as much of the leaves as possible. And what he did was he ran over the leaves and crushed them, and we used them uh, to compost the beds as well. I use a composting bin and throw all my kitchen scraps and yard scraps. Oh, okay, Sonia. That's wonderful. But so composting is such a great thing, and especially being able to use your compost for your potted plants and your containers. It's going to save you money because what if you can't get to Home Depot or Lowe's or to any of those gardening centers to get your bag of soil? And you're stuck. You're stuck unless you have some compost to enrich your soil with. So we've got to become independent gardeners and have our own way of enriching our soil with our compost, with our own compost. And it's actually better for our soil in the long run for us to use our own compost. And my husband, he just loves to compost. He loves to show me the really stuff. Look at this dirt. Look at this soil. This is the right soil. This is good stuff. And I would say, well, give me a pail of it. He'll give me a pail. And what I do is I get it like a metal the screen, and I would sift it. And the dirt, the compost is just so rich and black compared to the topsoil. And then, of course, because I've sifted it, it's fluffy and nice, and it doesn't have a whole lot of sticks and things that even, I think, some of these topsoil that you can get in compost, they just fill it up with twigs and sticks and give you just a little bit or minimum amount of dirt. I definitely compost all my food scraps. Oh, hi, Rambo. Everybody say hi to Rambo. How you doing? Yes, yes, yes. And he is a composter. Yes, he has a really great video on composting. Yeah, so composting and improving your soil structure, enhancing your soil fertility, and it helps to retain the moisture. That means that you don't have to water as much, and it provides adequate nutrients. So that's what I noticed with the garden, that I really have to get with it too. I have 3 rain buckets with kitchen scraps to feed my plants during the summer. Excellent. Yeah, and that is another thing that we need to consider. Water. God bless. How are you? What if the water prices go up or you're not able to get water? How are you going to water your garden? How are you going to have that water that you need? So having a rain barrel is something to really consider, or containers. As I said, what I did last year, even to help to conserve with the water, is that we had some big pails, and I just put them around the garden, and when it would rain, of course the pails will fill up, and when it wasn't raining, I just got my watering can, went to the pail, filled it up with the water, and was able to use the rainwater to water the garden. And it just helped with the water bills to keep everything down. But even now, I'm thinking strongly about having a barrel next to one of the spouts that we can gather water that way as well. And so that's something that I'm working on, thinking about doing. So having some kind of water source. And then if you're going to need to do a drip irrigation system or soaker hoses, depending on your climate and where you are, if it's very dry. Because I'm in the Northeast, it does rain pretty frequently. And so we really haven't had a drought experience so that I need to do like a drip irrigation system. But some people need that. So that's something to consider. How can you be more efficient with the water? And then finally, I'm going to mention managing weeds. And so how many of you tried the no dig method? The no dig method. Have you ever tried the no dig method? Just Let me know with the wave. Rainwater is best water for the plants. They grow faster and healthier. Thank you, Rainbow. The Vintage Gardener says, thankful my new house has a well, so no water bill, but I do have drip irrigation. It cuts down on the fungal issues. Okay, good for you. Rambo, me. You have the no dig method. Is that what you've used? Yes, if you've used the no dig method. Well, in my front garden there, my new garden that I put together, I used the no dig method, and I put down you did too, Lynette, yeah? Put down the cardboard, added the compost on top, and the wood chips. And then they have the back to Eden method. I'm trying to change to all little by little. Yeah, the wood chip method too is good. And when I got the wood chips, that helped. No dig is mainly what I do. Cool weather farmer. Okay, so we're no dig people. Charles Downing. I use the no dig method all the time. Gardens are me. What about the back to Eden with the wood chips? And that is similar also. I like that method as well. The whole idea is to cover the earth I built raised beds, installing drip, and getting a rain barrel. Oh, that's great, Betty. Betty, that was something that I wanted to bring up too. With that. So the other thing with managing weeds, when I said the chips, the back to Eden method with the wood chips, I live next to a forest. Cool weather farmer. Okay. He talks about mulching and making sure that you keep your garden covered. Haven't tried the wood chips. Well, check it out. The back to Eden method. It's called Back to Eden. And he speaks of it. It's really good, really interesting. And he talks about layering his garden, especially his orchards, where he has his apple trees and orchards with a heavy layer of wood chips. And then it's really good for that type of gardening. With a permaculture, the food forests and permaculture. But that's something to check out. I like that. And it also helps to suppress the weeds. And the no-dig method also helps with suppressing the weeds too, because you put the compost on top of the cardboard. And worms love the cardboard. You're going to have healthy soil underneath as well, because the worms love the cardboard and will help to bless the soil. I love both methods. Yeah. So that's really good. We're gonna be stopping soon because my phone tells me that I'm running out of time. But this was really good. I have a lot that I wanted to share. I also wanted to share about raised bed gardening. That's how we can also be efficient. So if you have soil that is not productive, soil that's not healthy, you can create a raised bed and get some pieces of wood, put it together, and then fill it with the soil, with the right soil, healthy soil, that you can produce good food. The raised bed. And then, of course, we have vertical gardening as well. I guess I'll talk about this some more next week on that, about maximizing small spaces. I have some pine trees cut down. Oops. Cool Weather Farm said I had some pine trees cut down. I told the tree cutter to leave all the sawdust and wood chips. Great. Wood chips, cardboard, and grass clippings are great. Yes. And that helps to keep your soil healthy. So that's what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about creating new growing spaces and improving your soil. And I didn't get to how to... So improving your soil, you get what you give. To compost, I didn't talk about fertilizing, but fertilizing as well. Water, a water source, and thinking about how are you going to water your garden if there is a water ban or if something should happen. And then managing your weeds. Managing your weeds help you through mulching and with the no dig method. The mulching helps with the water to keep moisture in the ground, keep your ground and your soil healthy. And then finally the raised bed method too. Raised beds. So we'll talk more about raised beds as we go along. But that's pretty much it. And I wanted just to tell you that plan your best garden. Be intentional about your garden. And I want to give some quick tips, and then we're going to end. So stick with me. I'm almost done. I'm so glad that you all were with me. And don't forget to go out and get yourself something beautiful, a beautiful plant. Do you like my tulips? I love my tulips. They have kept me in good company here. And it's just helping us know that there's beauty all around us. Just appreciate life and bring the beauty in. Don't just allow your mind to be stuck on negative things. Yes, we want to survive. Yes, we know that we have to prepare, but we can also enjoy the beauty of life. Enjoy the moment. And look at this. This pink is just absolutely gorgeous. Aren't they beautiful? Yes. So I give you all permission to go out and buy yourself some tulips and put them in your on your dining room table, in a planter, by your kitchen window, someplace. Aren't they pretty? I give you permission to go and do it. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Why? Because you deserve it. You're special. And you need to smile. You need to be happy. You need to enjoy life. And these little things, these little treats, make us happy. Yay! Yes, just give me a plant, a beautiful plant like this, and it only cost me $4.25. And look how beautiful it is. Yes, I'm just glowing with joy. So that's something I'm telling you to do. Treat yourself to some beautiful plants. Bring that goodness inside. Yeah, and also plant some seeds. We've got to still talk about growing our cut garden as well. Don't forget to click the like button. Yeah, that's right, Bev. Remind them. Really quick, I'm going to give you 9 different tips. How to use, this is Plan Your Best Garden Ever. 9 different tips. And these tips, we've been utilizing these tips here at Catherine's Garden and Home, where we grow, 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 grow together. The first one is to set aside a large format wall calendar just for gardening notes. Use it for goals, for several step garden projects, and timely reminders. And that's what our gardening book has done for us. It has been a place where we can jot down our notes. And hopefully you've had a journal or someplace where you're jotting down your notes and you're thinking about what you really want in your garden and that you're being intentional. If you're interested, it's not too late to get a copy. It's on Amazon. If you go to my website, that's Catherine's Garden Home, LWS.weebly, WEEBLY.com. There you can click on the link and it'll take you directly to the journal, and you can start to fill out your journal so that you are ready for this growing season and all the way through. It takes you all the way through from spring all the way through to winter. And now we really have to plan for the winter as well. So it doesn't stop. It's good to write down your thoughts in your journal. Number 2 is shop early for containers, well before buying plants. And I talked about containers. I have some videos on containers and container gardening and selecting containers. And we've talked about that here. So that's the second tip that we've covered. The third one is inventory your seed stash. And of course, we talked about seeds. Yes, I've showed you all those seeds that I got. And we've been talking about catalogs and so forth. So, yes, think about your seeds. Clean your hand tools. We talked about tools before. While you have time, chip off uncrusted dirt, rub with a damp rag and oil, and clean your tools. Number 5, review plant information and catalogs, which we did last week. We talked about different types of herbs and resolve to try something new this year. We talked about that too. Number 6, cruise through catalogs with a marker, a yellow sticker, notes flagging everything you might want to order. We did that also. And number 7, when ordering seeds or plants via mail order, fill out the order form even if you intend to call your order to use the internet. This way you are prepared and the process goes quickly. Number 8, place orders early. And I know you all have got your seeds already. Before the companies get busy, these get filled faster. Plus, you can get exactly what you want, thus avoiding substitutes and rain checks. You know, that's what happened to me when I ordered the David Austin rose. There was one rose that I wanted to get, Gertrude Jekyll, I think that's the one, and they were sold out. I was upset. The next time. And then number 9, stockpile soil amendments. Order or buy loam, compost, and mulch weeks before you need them. When you do, they'll be there. Yay! So I've covered everything. We're right up to number 9 with our best tips for planting a beautiful garden. And next week, I will be sharing with you tip number 10. So make sure you come on back and join me here at Catherine's Garden and Home, where we grow, 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 grow together. At Catherine's Garden and Home, that's right. Grow, 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 grow together in Catherine's Garden and Home. Yes, so we are going to plan new beds and borders on paper, and we're going to draw it out. I'm going to have you get some pen and paper and start drawing out where you're going to put your containers, where was the most sunniest part of your garden. So make sure that you start to observe your garden, because next week that is what we're going to talk about. I wasn't able to get to it, creating new growing spaces so we can grow, 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 grow together in Catherine's Garden at Home. That's right. And we will be prepared. We will not allow any feelings of anxiety or worry or wonder where we're going to get our food from, but we will stay blessed. As Beverly says, stay blessed, everyone. So let me bless you. May you be blessed this week. May you be filled with joy. Make sure that you treat yourselves well. Enjoy your garden. Get some sun. And smile, knowing that you are prepared for whatever comes your way. And that when things happen, you'll be also able to help those who aren't prepared as well in your family. And you're going to be blessed to be a blessing. Yes, you are blessed to be a blessing. Yes, so be thankful, be joyful, and enjoy your life. Have a great day. Thank you, Lynette, for coming. Thank you, Rambrew. Thank you, Sonia. Thank you, Rachel. Thank you, Garzami Bev. Thank you, everybody. Let's see. Before my battery runs out, let's see how many people I can thank. Yeah, I don't want to miss anyone. So I'm backing up real quick here so that I can thank you all for coming in the chat. Steffi, thank you. G Mama Grows. Betty Johnson. Let me see. Simplify with Ebony. Thank you for coming on. Yay. All of you. Oh, let's see what else. Yes. Cool Weather Farmer, thank you. Betty Johnson, thank you. Rambo, thank you. Vintage Gardener, thank you. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for the thumbs up. If you enjoyed this session, Cool Weather Farmer, Vintage Gardener, Sonia, thank you. Thank you for being a beautiful host. Steffi's Garden and Deborah. Deborah left early, but Betty Johnson, thank you for your insight, Betty. We really appreciate that. I hope if I missed you, it's not because, it's just that I'm trying to do it as quickly as possible. But I think I got everybody. Anyway, God bless you all. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your week. And make sure that you go out and you get yourself a treat, some tulips. I've given you permission to do so. And enjoy. Have a good day. And remember, come back to Catherine's Garden and Home, where we grow, 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 grow together. Bye.